rolling fund, the fund that you manage, you're investing in kind of these companies that are, I think it was one of the prosthetic limbs that are, going to be replaced, batteries that might, be bought by Elon Musk for millions. He's asking for them. But there is a moral case for technology, and I would love for you to shed a light for our listeners on what is this case? How can we shed a light on this?
Yeah, I'm glad you zeroed in on that because I think it's the most important idea in that whole book, which is why it came first. And I hope if people take one thing away from it, it's that, right? Like we have this perception that there's like a technology industry and it's mostly made of software and, it's iPhones and, apps. Technology is the like frontier of what is possible with currently existing human technology. And we should be all deeply interested in pushing that frontier. And historically, technology has been, railroads, electrification, air conditioning, telephones, ships, cars, like horses, domesticating horses even. Like every time we have made a big step in technology, we have gotten, safer, more comfortable, more abundant lives that allow us to be, spend less time in zero sum hunting, gathering, like making war on each other, and more cooperative, more positive, more peaceful, more abundance, and then more resources to then invest in moving those frontiers of technology again. So every industry and every role there's an opportunity to reinvest in technology and push it. You don't have to come invest in frontier battery chemistry technology with me to make progress. Like wherever you are working, just like adopt a little bit of technology. And all that really means is like finding ways to do more with less using tools. Like the example that I use in my leverage course, in technology is sort of this compounding force of leverage. Like, if you're a lumberjack without an axe, you're not going to make much progress. If you have a tool like an axe, you're going to be able to fell, take down a tree an hour. If you have a chainsaw, new technology came along. Now you can do 10 trees an hour. If you have a tractor, if you have a team, you have coordinated people, and the machines now that do like forestry are absolutely incredible. They can like cut, turn, shave a tree, plane it down, load it on a truck in seconds. And it's unbelievable. And that is the supply chain of technology behind you being able to have a roof over your head. It's because we are doing every step of this thing in a more efficient way. And a good example that we're dealing with right now is self-driving cars. 10 years ago, the concept of self-driving cars came out and Google was kind of like, hey, I think we might be able to do this. And everyone's like, oh my God, cool. Can't come soon enough. It's such a tragedy. Like hundreds of thousands of people have died in car accidents over the last few years. Like we must have this technology. And now it exists and it's here and everyone's protesting it. San Francisco is like blocking these cars and burning them. And like, who are these people who are against self-driving cars? Like, what is show me the moral case for stopping self-driving cars that are going to be safer, that are going to relieve, hundreds of hours of menial labor for people who have to sit sedentary driving a car. Every person who dies in a, drunk driving or car accident right now is a fucking tragedy. And anybody who is slowing down the development of these new technologies that allows these deaths to happen, that is morally unconscionable to me. And like, I don't understand the worldview of the person who's standing in the way of that new technology. And this example is just so purely cut and dry, obviously better, that it's a good one to use. But I do think anybody would be very hard pressed to name a technology in human history that has not done more good than harm. You can always come up with a bad case or a risk or a way that an evil person could use a technology to perpetrate evil. But almost every technology that I can think of in the whole of human history has done more good than harm, and more technology leads to more good for more people. And we should all know that. We should always act in that sense. We should vote for politicians who believe that. We should work for people who believe that. We should carry that into our workplaces. We should carry that into the dinner conversations. We should demand progress from our countries, from our politicians, from our communities, mock, ridicule, and push out people that stand in the way for stupid ideological reasons because they're holding back, abundance and eventually infinity from all of us. and it's not, change is not easy. Like humans have this built-in brake pedal that like, oh my God, the world is changing around me. Fucking stomp on that brake. I don't want to learn a new thing. It's risky, it's scary. Don't make me do it. I like things the way they are. And that tends to happen even more for older people. And that tends to happen when they are in positions of power. 50 or 60-year-old people are less adapted to change on average. There are many, many exceptions, but like less adapted to change than younger people. And younger people are the ones who come up and say, we should change some things. And like when they're in their 30s and 40s, they have like enough power to maybe change a few things before they get set in their ways and gain enough power. And then they're like, all right, no more change. So really like investing in these like young, ambitious people, giving them the opportunity to make changes and push us forwards, use that youthful energy. Don't be too set in your ways. There's so much good that feels so close. And if we could just like grease the way for it a little bit and welcome it and pull it forward, we have an incredibly exciting, next 100 years ahead of us. And, we are owed another industrial revolution. Like, what happened, the leap in material abundance that happened through railroads and telegraphs and electricity and internal combustion and gas and steel, like all of those technologies happening all at once and reinforcing each other and accelerating all of us, like created the life that we are used to today. Otherwise it'd be like outhouses, horses, and farming. Like that is a much worse life. And we have another 100x leap in material wealth available to us in the next 100 years, but it could be 30 or 40 years if we play our cards right, or it could be 200 years or never if we shit the bed and do a terrible job of embracing and investing in these new technologies and deploying them as quickly and effectively as we can. So I'm all in on supporting that kind of future and supporting people who are pursuing it, which is why I work so hard to kind of find those people, support them through my platform, through my podcast with capital. So I find people who are willing to invest in these kind of futures and help channel capital to the people who are working on, my one-liner is like, I fund obsessive geniuses building utopian technologies. So if you want to put capital to work on that, like throw it in my fund, I will get it to these people. They're building all kinds of crazy, incredible things that'll make the future better. And I hope we can all give them all the support we can possibly muster. And our older selves and our children and our grandchildren will be very grateful for our efforts.